The house on Marrow Creek Road. There's a stretch of road just outside the town of Hollow Ridge that locals try not to drive after dark. They call it Marrow Creek Road. On most maps, it's only a thin line, a forgotten dirt path that winds through the woods and crosses a shallow creek before ending at an old farmhouse. The house has been abandoned for years. The paint peeled away long ago, and the windows stare like empty sockets into the trees. But every few years, someone decides to stay there. A lost traveler, a thrill seeker, or someone who simply doesn't believe the stories. Those people don't stay long, and some never leave at all. The most well-known account came from a man named Daniel Ross, who rented the place in the fall of 2003. He was a quiet man in his 30s, recently divorced, trying to get away from the noise of city life. The realtor warned him about the isolation, but that was exactly what he wanted. The first week was quiet. The woods were beautiful in late October, fog rising from the creek in the mornings, the sound of owls at night. But after the seventh night, Daniel started to notice something strange. It began with the creek. Every evening, around 11 p.m., the sound of the running water would fade, replaced by something heavier, like footsteps moving through the shallow stream. Slow, deliberate steps that splashed once, then paused, then splashed again. He looked outside one night, expecting to see an animal, maybe a deer or a stray dog. But the creek was empty. Still, the sound continued. He froze. The sound echoed through the house. He didn't move, didn't breathe. After a minute, the knocking stopped. When he finally looked outside, there was no one there. Just the fog and the still creek below. He didn't sleep that night. The next day, he called the realtor and asked about the property's history. She hesitated before saying much, but finally told him the house had belonged to the Harper family in the 1950s. The husband, Thomas Harper, was a fisherman who vanished one winter night while checking his traps along the creek. His body was never found. Weeks later, neighbors reported seeing a figure standing in the creek after dark, pale, unmoving, just staring at the Harper house. Within a year, the wife and 2 children moved away. No one had lived there for long since. That night, Daniel set up a small tape recorder near the back door, hoping to catch the sound. At 11:03, the footsteps returned. He didn't look outside this time. He just sat on his bed, staring at the wall, clutching the flashlight. The recorder captured every sound, the splashing steps, the soft knocks, and then something else. A voice, faint, watery, whispering through the door. It said, "Let me in." When Daniel played it back the next morning, he felt his stomach drop. The voice didn't sound distant. It sounded like it was right beside the recorder, as if whoever said it had leaned close, inches from the microphone. He drove into town that day, bought a new lock for the door, and considered leaving. That was enough. He packed his bags the next morning. But as he loaded his car, he noticed something in the creek below, a figure standing ankle deep in the water, facing the house. It was a man. He wore soaked, old-fashioned clothes, like from another century. His skin was pale, and his hair hung wet across his face. Daniel froze. The figure lifted its head, and even from that distance, Daniel saw its eyes. They were hollow, dark sockets where eyes should have been. He jumped into his car and sped away, never once looking back. 2 weeks later, police found the car abandoned on the side of the highway. The driver's door was open, and muddy footprints, the same kind, led from the road into the woods and stopped at a small creek. The recorder was recovered from the house. On the last tape, after hours of silence, you can hear faint splashing, and then Daniel's voice. He says, "Who's there?" Then another voice replies, "You invited me." After that, just water. Constant, rhythmic splashing until the tape ends. Today, the house still stands on Marrow Creek Road. Locals say if you walk near the creek after dark, you can still hear the same sound. Footsteps in the water, coming closer. No one stays long enough to find out what happens when they stop. And if you ever drive that road at night, lock your doors. Because some people say, on foggy nights, they've seen a wet handprint appear on their car window, even when they're alone.